Getting me?
We can hear
I'm
you.
having yes, I'm having a problem with my network.
I can see that. But we're glad you're here.
Okay, is that fair? Is that fair for now? Can you guys get me when I speak?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's a pleasure being here today
We're glad you were able to join
discussing.
us.
Okay, thank you. Let me just follow the conversation.
We'll just give you a little update. I don't know how much you know about Western North Carolina and where I am, but we had Hurricane Helene come through and decimated many communities, over 600 lives lost. Whole towns and communities are gone. Houses are gone, wiped off the face of the earth. And just a lot of decimated areas. Um,
Okay, I'm not familiar with the entire place, as I know the state, North Carolina.
yes.
Earlier today, I was speaking to a friend. He came by my office and we're talking about some environmental programs that we're trying to see because they are running an environmental program.
Uh-huh.
They own an NGO, and a government organization. So we're talking about the hurricane that happened in your hometown, and also we were giving reference to the one that happened in Florida the other time, Hurricane Ian. And I was telling him about the role that Africa plays, especially in all this environmental scene. The other day I was watching a program on Meetup. There was a session from those guys on Meetup. There is an environmental group. And this, according to this man's presentation, it was like Africa plays a very big role in the world, these environmental disasters that are happening. You know, most Africans don't are not really into conserving the environment, caring about all that. However, according to this guy's information, it was like there is a lot that needs to be done, especially on environmental conservation, telling to people about what might happen in the future. So when you talk about these hurricanes and referring to what my friend here was discussing with me, it's all about that spirit. The environment is calling. So for us here, they are trying to see that they plant more trees and see if they can save some of the disasters. Earlier this year, we had a similar case, though ours was drought in the northern part of the country. A very huge drought came, people died because of food, and we saw international organizations coming in, churches coming in to come and support, and especially giving mental support to these bereaved, the families that lost their loved ones. So I'm with you guys. My deepest sympathies to everyone in North Carolina. I know some of them will be watching this. It's
Thank
really
you.
sad to what happened, but we pray for you. We pray that you get through this, you get the hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. I've had a few people reach out to me on like TikTok and say, I wish I could do more. I'm in Ohio or California or whatever. And I asked them, I said, are you praying for us? Are you sending us good thoughts? Are you, you know, keeping us in your thoughts? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, we're feeling it because
Sure,
that
sure.
energy is so powerful. So we greatly appreciate that. Not everybody can be here hands-on. I can't even be out there 24 hours a day hands-on. I wish I could. Um, but there are people who are.
Yes, I saw some volunteers you shared with me, and even when I got online and searched about the entire situation that had happened, I saw the response teams, people from different parts of the world that responded, different races, and there is a way to bring people together. I just appreciate the fact that that it brought you guys together, and everyone responded without any second thought.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, we saw linemen from California and Canada, rescue teams from Oklahoma. We've had mule teams come in because there's terrain that, you can't get a vehicle up there
Mm.
because whole bridges and sections of the roads have washed out, and people are unreachable otherwise. So, people have brought their mule teams, cadaver dogs,
Mm.
chainsaw. I mean, just people, normal people heading up here with chainsaws and shovels. And
Mm.
it's been like, there are no words.
Mm.
There are absolutely no words.
Mm.
Maybe my remark will be, a simple remark will be, this is like to all of you guys. It's a question to you and it's also a remark. What is your message according to the situation right now to the people in West North Carolina? What will be your message to that family that has lost a loved one, those ones who got injured or lost property? And even when you look at the environment right now, there is no working, people are trying to heal from what happened. What will be your message? Everyone here on the discussion, what will be your message to someone outside there, especially in Western North Carolina?
Well, I would tell them that there are so many people out here praying for them and wanting to help, and they're trying to find ways to help, and that, you know, continue to be a community and lift each other up and give each other hugs and encouragement, allow each other to cry, and grieve, but don't lose hope.
Mhm.
That would be where I would start.
I think I would
Maybe Jeffrey can come in.
Mhm.
Yes,
Oh,
Jeffrey, what will be your message to someone outside there, especially
I
in
would
Western North Carolina?
yeah, I would piggyback off of what Carrie said, and I would also say, let this be a stepping stone into the future. And these connections, these relationships that you're building because of this help, because of this coming together, let that build on to the community that's coming tomorrow, so that build upon that, build out of this tragedy, build an even stronger community for the future. So that's what I would say.
Thank you.
Yeah, it kind of, for me, it kind of makes you realize what's important in life, not cell phones and technology and all that stuff. It's your family and your friends and the people around you.
Mhm.
So I mean, it kind of level set what's important in life, even though but things like this kind of help you refocus, from not watching TV all the time and building a fire and just kind of hanging out and being there for each other. It just kind of slows your world down a little bit and makes you realize that you don't have to have all that technology and all that crap to survive.
Mhm. Yeah.
Thank you. But maybe mine will be the last one. For me, my message will be to someone outside there battling from grief, especially to what happened. My message will be really simple and brief. We are with you guys.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think that's so important, just to allow people to know that people are thinking about them and holding them in their hearts.
We don't know how, but we are with you. We are sharing in you. We are trying to do what we can, encouraging you because we love you. It's clear. We love you. Maybe also, lastly, my message to the world, everyone, those outside West North Carolina. This is like a gesture.
Mhm.
This is a clear example, something to awaken us that we need each other.
Mhm.
We need to be there for each other.
Yeah.
It's a question to humanity, the way we live, the way we respond, the way we treat each other. So this is like a question to us.
Yes.
and let us learn from this and be inspired. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you, Jimmy. That's an excellent question. The messages are very important that we keep sending to people who feel lost and hopeless. When I was in Burnsville the other day, I was handing out blankets and water and toilet paper. I mean, it's like a drop in the bucket to what other people are doing. But I had people sitting in their cars and telling me they were praying for me. And I'm like, I'm good. Like my family is safe, my home is safe. I'm praying for you. And they're like, no, like we're gonna pray for you too. And you know, these are people who are living in their cars and who haven't had a shower in 19 days, who don't have running water, who are using porta potties, which are, ugh, that alone is a tragedy. Just to add a little humor maybe there, but it's true. And they were offering me prayer because I was there helping, and that there's a feeling there. And I say this because I've been out there and I have not been to the worst parts by any means. But I feel like as hopeless and decimated as some of our areas are, that along with the communities that have pulled together, the people who have come in with their love and their compassion and their skills and their grit have helped raise the vibration of Western North Carolina. So I can tell you stories all day long, but until you're standing there in it and you can feel that energy that is alive and well in this part of the world, it is indescribable.
Yeah. It reminds me of a story. I think I said this, I mentioned this before, of this a homeless person I was talking to. Well, it was a group of us talking. We just started talking. And he said, I think it was like, yeah, he said something so profound. He said, sometimes people, they give us things and they walk by. He says, sometimes we just want to know that they care. We just want a conversation. And I think that those people saying that they were praying for you, you giving that extra attention to them, sometimes that's all a person needs to kind of get them on their way. You know, it's not a bunch of things that you do, but just that small, I notice you, I know you, I see you, has all the power in the world. Just that, you know. So, and that really resonated when that homeless person said that. I said, wow, we just think we give socks and we just walk away, but we give socks and we give some conversation. Makes all the difference in the world. So,
Or maybe a hug, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, people were in
Yeah.
their cars, so
Yeah.
it wasn't as easily to do it, but I wanted to hug everybody. I helped this lady walk to her car with some dog. She had this little bitty dog and it was cold up there, and she had him wrapped in a quilt. So I carried the dog food bag and I just hugged her. The dog did not like me hugging her, let me tell you. He was very protective. He's like this big. But it just feels good to make that human connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I add on?
Yeah.
Okay, to add on what Kerry and Jeffrey have just shared, I want to urge everyone. This is my prayer every time. I want to urge everyone. The spirit that we are seeing today, especially in Western North Carolina, especially after this devastation, my humble prayers will be how I hope this spirit can last even after these times. How I wish this spirit can last without ending. The spirit of compassion, the spirit of loving each other, the spirit of praying for each other. I know there is a way it can shape us. You know, we cannot replace what we lost during these hard times, but still it can shape the way that we shall be living in the years to come, our children and generations. To share with you earlier this week, one of my greatest lessons that I learned in this week was from a South African motivational speaker. I was watching some of his content. He was telling us that the greatest mistakes made by this generation, the young generation especially, as I mean to that young generation, is that we avoid sharing experiences with each other, especially when we meet, when we're moving. We are totally lost that we are not being inspired by what is happening. We are not learning from it.
Mhm.
Because if we can learn from what is happening, from what is going on, we can have a chance to correct the way we shall live in the future. We give an example that when a young man meets another young person, rather, let me not generalize, rather, let me generalize, let me not categorize. When a young person meets another young person, and one asks the other, how is business? The other will respond, it's good. Then they will move away. This is reference to what Jeffrey has just said.
Mhm.
Most of the times, as the young generations, we don't take time to have a conversation with one another.
Mhm.
When we meet, we are always on and off. You know, we are masking, putting on, masking what is inside, putting on a face which is not really in reality. For him, his prayers were how he wishes that we could get time, have a conversation before leaving. He told us that you will discover many things which you have always been missing, many experiences, and there is a way you will learn to live together and achieve much than the way we are living today. So when you talk about how people come through, give you support, they live without having that conversation with you, without knowing what's going on, it gets me back to the prayers which I was just mentioning earlier, that after this, how I wish the spirit stays, the spirit of checking on each other, the spirit of compassion, love, and so on. That is it, guys.
Mhm.
You're so right though.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we have gotten into this thing of like just passing by, how are you? And
Mhm. Mhm.
moving on and not sitting down and saying, no, really, how are
Yeah.
you?
Right.
And
So
listening.
true. So
So
true.
that's why
I'm
I was
I'm
saying,
guilty of that. I'm definitely
yeah,
guilty of that.
that's why I was saying, you
Yeah.
know, right now, the other day I was seeing posts on Kerry's timeline and other people in North Carolina. People were writing longer posts, urging people to come to contact them if they needed anything. You
Yeah.
know, how I wish such spirit should stay, the spirit of checking on each other, the spirit of
Mhm.
taking time to know each other and have that conversation, you know, what's
Yeah.
happening. I know it's happening right now, but I don't want this to end.
Right.
Let's begin with North Carolina. Let the spirit not end. Let the people in North Carolina carry on the spirit. You never know, the vibration can spread all over.
Mm.
Yeah.
That spirit of checking on each other, of
Yeah.
having
Build on
time.
this
We know
momentum.
we always
Build on this
having tight
momentum.
schedules.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let this be the foundation. Let's
Yeah.
let allow it to
Something even
grow.
bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without ceasing. I know you guys, you're checking on each other. Are you lacking this? How was your night? How are you dealing with this? So after this time, after this tragedy, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, let's continue checking on each other. Despite the busy schedules, I know work will resume, responsibilities will resume, but still we need to have that humanity which we have gained from these hard times.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
And I'm seeking out people who want to tell their story of
Mhm.
Western North Carolina, and I want them to tell their story on my podcast for a couple of reasons. One, these stories are powerful, and people, the news tells what they see, but they don't
Mhm.
tell what people feel.
Right.
Sure. Sure.
And I want people to be able to express their feelings. I truly believe that when we tell our story, it starts as healing.
Mhm.
Sure.
Telling and sharing our stories is very powerful. And in
Mhm.
addition, I don't want North Carolina to be forgotten about, because so often in these tragedies, we're like, oh, I'll pray for you. And 2 days later, you forget about it because you're going on with your life.
Mhm.
And this is not a 2-day affair.
Right.
This
Right.
is probably a 2-year or
Mhm.
3-year or more
Mhm.
rebuilding.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. Definitely.
And I also want us to remember that when things happen in other places, that we continue to give to them too,
Mm-hmm.
as they have given to us.
Yeah.
So,
You know, the first thing I thought about when all of this hit was because I work with elderly, and then they're not, of course, they're not the only ones that are vulnerable. But I thought that was the first thing I thought of. What about that old woman or old man who has their home?
Mhm.
Maybe their spouse has passed. They don't have the insurance on a home that they would have because they don't have the monies coming in to afford that. What happens with them? You know, because if their house is decimated or whatever, their situations, how who jumps in for them? You know, where do they go? You know?
that's a good question though. A lot of people are finding out now
Mm,
because nobody in North Carolina has hurricane insurance.
mm,
Mhm.
mm,
Most people don't have flood insurance.
mm.
A lot of people don't have collision on their cars, so their cars will not be replaced.
Wow.
Um, I don't know.
Mm,
I was
yeah.
listening to the story of these two little old ladies, sisters living together, and their insurance is not going to pay for their home, which was wiped out
Mm,
because they said you didn't have flood insurance.
mm,
But she said it wasn't the flood that took our house out. It was the tree that hit the house that knocked us into the flow of the water. And they
mm,
rode 5 miles on a mattress